What's going on, guys? Today we got a very delicious recipe in store. We are going to be making a keto strawberry cheesecake. So there's 3 components to this, and we're going to be using a 7-inch springform pan. You just pop the cheesecake out. It makes it a lot easier. We like to have one of these on hand. So the 3 parts are the crust, then the filling, and then we've got a strawberry sauce that we're going to make on the stovetop that is just going to take this cheesecake to the next level. I'm so excited. So let's first get our crust going, and we're going to use a food processor for that because we don't have any pecan meal on hand. So if you don't have any pecan meal or almond meal, which you could also use for this crust, you're just going to want to add your half a cup, a little over half a cup of pecans to the processor, and we're going to pulse this until it grinds up, and then we'll add in our rest of our ingredients. So now I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of butter, melted, and 2 tablespoons of powdered erythritol. Okay, and that looks good to me. So before we add the crust to the springform pan, we are gonna grease this pretty heavily because when the cheesecake bakes, that will definitely stick to the sides and we don't want any stickage. So I'm gonna use this spray we have here and really get it greased up nice. I like to go in with a paper towel and just make sure everything is nice and coated. So now we're just gonna pour the crust out into the pan. And we are just going to press it out. Okay, that looks perfect. So this is gonna be a crust on the thinner side. I personally like a nice thick crust. That's actually my favorite part of a cheesecake. So I would actually double the ingredients if I was gonna make this again just for like myself and my family. But this definitely covers the bottom, just a nice thin crust. So we're gonna pop this in the fridge and let it chill for about 20 minutes while we make our filling. So now on to the fun part. We're gonna make our cheesecake filling. This is pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And pretty standard in comparison to like a normal cheesecake filling. We're going to use cream cheese, we're going to use sour cream, we're going to use some eggs and vanilla extract. The one difference is going to be the sweetener we use. We're going to be using powdered erythritol and liquid stevia. So these are common sweeteners that you're going to find in low carb baked goods on a low carb or keto diet. And we like to use half and half because erythritol can have some slight digestive issues if used in bulk. And then stevia can be a little on the bitter side. So if you're serving this to like non-keto family and friends, it's really good to like use both sweeteners in our opinion. So what we have here in this bowl is 16 ounces of cream cheese. So 2 packages, and it's room temperature. So it's ready to beat up and get fluffy. To that, we're going to add our erythritol, which is half a cup of powdered erythritol. And powdered is important because you don't want that grainy, gritty texture you just get from standard erythritol. We're going to quickly fluff this up here. That looks beautiful. And I want to make a note, having the cream cheese room temperature or very soft so that it fluffs up like this is crucial. Because otherwise you're going to get like big chunks of like cold pieces in the filling and that just won't bake up as well. So if you don't have room temperature cream cheese, you can pop it in the microwave. That's what I did actually for about 3 minutes at power level 3, and that'll soften it without like making it completely melted. And then another important aspect of this recipe is having room temperature eggs, but these are very cold if you could feel them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop them into a bowl of warm water, and that's a quick trick to make these warm as well. And we can let that sit for a little bit while we add the rest of our ingredients to our filling. So next up, we're gonna add our sour cream. We're gonna do 1/3 cup, so just under 90 grams. Then we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, some lemon zest, and this is really gonna pop and really complement that strawberry sauce when we add that on at the end. So we're gonna do about 1.5 teaspoons. I just like to eyeball that. And then 20 drops of liquid stevia, and this is concentrated, so 20 drops is gonna be very sweet. It'll go a long way. And then last, we're gonna add in our room temperature eggs. So we got 2 large ones. And we'll give this a nice whisk on low speed to start. Now that is nice and smooth looking, and that is the goal. We've definitely made cheesecakes with clumpy filling, and it's just not as good, you know? So that's beautiful. We just pulled out our crust. It's been 20 minutes, so this is nice and firm and chilled. So all we're gonna do now is pour our filling right on top, and then we're gonna pop it in the oven for 45 to 50 minutes at 325 degrees. And at this point, I like to give it a little tap to make sure any air bubbles are out. And we're just gonna spread the top to make it nice and even. So we're gonna get this in the oven, like I said, 45 to 50 minutes. At the end, the center will be a little jiggly, but it will set throughout the setting process. So let's pop this in, and then we'll be back in a little bit to check on it. So it's been exactly 45 minutes, and you can tell this cheesecake is looking pretty good and done. So the center is definitely gonna be a little jiggly. I can show you. But the rest, the outside, and the sides are definitely cooked. So we just shut the oven off, and we are going to pop the door open a little and let that cool for about 30 minutes before we actually pull it out of the oven. All right, guys, now time to make the strawberry sauce. Our cheesecake is cooling. It is in the fridge right now. So we're gonna make this sauce. It'll take you 10 minutes, and then it'll be the perfect topping for our delicious cheesecake. We're gonna use some fresh strawberries, some lemon juice, and some liquid stevia to really bring this together. First thing we're gonna do is chop up 1 cup of fresh strawberries. Okay, so we have a saucepan here. We're gonna heat to medium heat, and we're gonna add in our chopped strawberries. We're also gonna add in 3 tablespoons of water, juice of half a lemon, and a 1/4 teaspoon of liquid stevia. And we're just gonna give that a nice stir and let this cook down for about 8 to 10 minutes. So one component I totally forgot was the erythritol. So we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of erythritol. Stir that in. You can see the sauce is coming together very nicely, and it happens pretty quick, so you wanna keep an eye on it. So this looks good here, so I'm gonna add in our xanthan gum. We're gonna do a heaping 1/4 teaspoon. So xanthan gum is a low carb thickening agent, and you don't need a lot at all. A little goes a long way, so it's always best to start off with a little, and then you can always increase the amount you use. So our sauce is complete. That took, honestly, not even a full 10 minutes. We're just gonna let this cool a bit. We're gonna pull out our cheesecake and then top and taste. So we've pulled out our cheesecake, and honestly, it's still a little warm. It's not hot, but we are a little impatient. So ideally, you would let this be in the fridge for 4 hours up to overnight. Because cheesecake, honestly, I think is served best when it's nice and cold. You can see the crust. That looks good. And we're gonna serve up a slice instead of just topping the entire cheesecake, like butter. That looks good. And now we're just gonna get some of this. And here's the topping if you wanna take a nice look at it on the inside. So that's thick, but still some nice chunks of strawberry. Paula Deen up in here. I should not use Paula Deen as a reference, right?
Can't use her anymore.
I'm Pioneer Woman up in here. I don't know her name, but I really love the Pioneer Woman.
You should just stick with that one lady that you love who always feeds Jeffrey, her husband.
Oh, Ina Garten?
Yeah.
Ina, though. It's not Ina. Big piece. Oh, yeah. That's beautiful. Oh, my God. You know what really comes through first, surprisingly, is that pecan crust. So buttery and just like light, and then the fluffiness of the cheesecake filling, and then the strawberry just like at the end coats your mouth. And what I like is that it's not overly sweet itself. So if you want to make the strawberry topping even sweeter, that could be a nice compliment. So definitely try this keto strawberry cheesecake out. Linked below is the recipe and the instructions exactly on how to make this in ketoconnect.net. Tons of resources as far as shopping guides, restaurant guides, and give you all the desserts you want. Let us know when you make this and what you think of it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.